I'm just trying to make my hair look not crazy, and it's not super working. Right now, it's also very dark outside. Ugh, why do I do videos when I look like this? I don't know, because I don't care anymore. Because it's more about what I'm saying and less about what I look like at this point. In case nobody knows, because again, I should actually check if my numbers have changed, but I know that my audience is predominantly masculine, so they don't know things like this, but the reason my hair is sticking up like crazy is because when you give birth, all this hair falls out and then grows back, so it's going to take a while to grow back. Oh, now you're tired again. Shocker. Hey, you gotta eat. You can't eat your binky. Alright, whatever. So, probably what I'll do, because today is my Russian day and tomorrow I'm traveling and I don't really feel like making videos while I'm on my, like, probably last vacation ever at this point in the foreseeable future because of everything that's going on right now with my life. I bought this in Italy at the Flying Tiger. I felt it was appropriate. Anyway, I liked the topic talk about air conditioning in Finland versus the US. Like, it's such a, I don't want to say dumb topic, but like, banal. No, not even, but it's just like so random. And like, I think it's actually something that's a good thing to discuss because, like, who else is going to be able to tell you about that? Man, my house looks like a disaster. Basically, they send you these free milk bags in the US. No! Dude, no. Oh my gosh. Alright, we're on borrowed time because the baby woke up too early this morning. And she doesn't feel like eating. So she's just going to be freaking out, staring at me because she's bored. Okay, great. So this won't be a super long video, but essentially, I have kind of decided that I don't really particularly want to spend the majority of my summer in Finland, simply due to the fact that there's no air conditioning. And I'm not even like a big air conditioning lover. It's not like I put my air on like blasting. I just need it enough so that I'm not sweating inside my own home, which was not an experience that I had in Finland. Like, the only thing that really super sucked about giving birth to you, little one, in Finland was that I don't have air conditioning in my home. I remember like not wanting to leave the hospital because the hospital had air conditioning. And that just sucked. Like, I just had a fan on me all the time. And whereas in the US, I don't even have central AC, which is a really common thing. But I don't even know what you want to do this morning. Central AC is like, for not poor people. Window units is for poor people. That's a really crude way of putting it. But like, I have window units because, again, I was telling my uncle, I was like, the fact that I live in a dinky, not even 2-bedroom apartment, and the fact that that's something to be envied in, like, modern society as a 30-year-old with a child, like, there's clearly something wrong with the world today, but I digress. Anyway, so I have window units. The room I sleep in does not have a window unit, so I basically I don't blast, but I put on the window unit from the other room that's nearby. And then I have a fan in my room, which I actually just had to pay an electrician to install. Like, this overhead fan thing is a lot more common in the US in people's homes than it is in Finland. I've, like, never seen do they even use fans? No, you buy, like, a plug-in fan. So the point is, air conditioning does exist in places that are not America. It's just kind of slow to catch up. So actually, fun fact, I did do research on this a long time ago, and I'm trying to remember why. I think just because I have a lot of feelings about air conditioning. I don't like being cold. I mean, granted, I lived in Finland okay. I say that, but then I'm like, but I'm in Finland half the year. That makes no sense as a statement. Okay, let's think about this. So the real thing is that I actually don't like artificial cold, is what I've realized. So I don't really like sitting indoors with air conditioning blowing on me. And I think this is something I didn't really like about living in Texas. I just felt like there was an overuse of air conditioning. And it was like too hot outside and too cold inside. So there was no Goldilocks zone there. But I did think about trying to get air conditioning myself in Finland, so the ones that look super nice and sleek that you put, like, up on, the top of your wall, apparently those things are, like, $2,000, so, $2,000 is, like, a mortgage payment for the month, so, like, that's okay, we need that. not having air conditioning is just uncomfortable. And it's more expensive to be in Finland in the summer anyway, just because of the way the flights work. So, again, it's okay. We really don't have to be... You think that's funny that you're not eating your food? This baby is really not having it today. The weather is so bad that I can't go outside, so there's, like, nothing to do, and she doesn't like being inside, and I don't want to spend money, so I need to stay inside, so this is what we're doing. Okay, anyway, so the issue is those units are super expensive. Now, people have these other ones where it's like a thing that's on the ground that you then kind of have to like board up the rest of your window and you stick it out your window. Those ones I think are a little bit cheaper. I think they may be around like $800, but either way, that's still crazy. And they take up room and you have to like take them in and out every season, which like I'm not a big fan of that either. So point being, it kind of ends up being this situation where there's not really a comfortable way to have home air conditioning. Now, they do have air conditioning in major buildings in Finland. Like I mentioned, the hospital, the university has air conditioning. But also, they're not keeping it quite as cold as, like, I'm probably used to in the U.S. And I don't know. I just find that I end up feeling more uncomfortable in the summer because it's just, like, regulating your temperature, air conditioning or not, just starts to feel pretty tricky. That's why I think being at home in the U.S., like, where I have air conditioning in the summer is probably the best way for me to not feel too hot or too cold. Now, I don't know, like, the other thing I think you need to understand also is just, like, Europeans are not used to air conditioning. And one of the stories I tell is, like, I went to Osh, Kyrgyzstan with a French girl who I was studying with, and there was air conditioning, one of these $2,000 units. Probably cheaper in Kyrgyzstan. Who knows? Maybe not. And I remember she, like, I put on the air to sleep with, and she turned off the air in the middle of the night, and it was so hot. Because then people are also thinking, like, oh, air conditioning is going to make them sick or something. I don't know. It's sort of like the going outside with wet hair. Alright, so for some reason, this baby is really not eating, and I can't quite figure out why. She wants to feed herself. That's what's going on. Anyway, I don't know. What is really my point here? Just that, like, I've said this a lot in respects to the law, but, like, wherever you grow up and what you're used to tends to be your baseline. So because I personally am, like, not used to no air conditioning whatsoever, being somewhere where there's never air conditioning sucks. And to be fair, in Finland, the only time of year you really need air conditioning is July. I'd argue that even in June, you don't necessarily need air conditioning. And then August already starts getting cold. So it's just like, I don't think I want to be in Finland in July ever again in the future. Just because it's too hot in my house, and I tend to spend a lot of time in my house in Finland. Alright, we're gonna make some eggs because this is, like, crazy right now. I don't know, so I don't know if that's interesting. You are crazy. I did not, I thought it was funny, this last video I posted, like, people really did not read it. Like, people did not watch the video, they just looked at the caption and made comments based on it. I'm like, you didn't even, like, I'm not saying Finland is boring. My point is, people who visited me are saying Finland is boring. Personally, like I said, I have enough stimulation going on in my head that I don't need to keep adding stimulation, which the U.S. has way too much stimulation, so don't love that. The stimulation right now is all inside my house, and it comes in the form of laundry and ironing and making my bed, and we're not there yet, and we have to pack for our trip tomorrow. Well, yeah, so that's all I really have to say about air conditioning, is just that it does exist in public buildings, but in your home, good luck, and obviously that's where you want it because that's where you're sleeping. And to me, how the heck do you sleep when it's that hot? I used to live in Armenia one summer, and I remember it was so hot. It was like 40 degrees Celsius, whatever that is in American, because I was not using American at that time. And like, it was so hot, I had to fall asleep with a fan next to my head, and I felt like I was constantly sweating, and it's just like, that's just gross to me. Okay, well, that's everything I have to say for today, and I'm gonna try to, like, finish packing or get, like, one thing done today, because some days are like that. My mom is taking the baby, which is when I actually get anything done, so until next time, bye.